Morning everyone, and welcome to 5 Tools to Track Your Online Success webinar via GoToMeeting with me, Jane Woodley. Let's get started without any further ado. First of all, I've muted everyone, otherwise it all gets a bit distracting, so I can't hear your talking or background noise. Could you also in your control panel just click the green microphone if you haven't done that already, so it's got a red line through it, just to make sure that your background noise also isn't distracting everyone. I'm more than happy to take questions as we go. If you can just type them in the type message here panel. You might have a question panel which has a little text box or a chat box, whatever you've got in front of you. Just type your question there and it will come in to me. Now, can everyone please, just before we start, let me check that you can actually hear me. You should have a little hand icon in your control panel. Can everyone just raise your hand? And just to let me know that you can actually hear me and that the volume's okay. If the volume is too loud or too soft, if someone could just type me a little question, that'd be great. Okay, see lots of hands going up, looking good. Excellent. Well then, let's get started without any further ado. Oh, one other thing I always say too is you might want to quickly make sure you've just got a little pen and paper there. We are recording this session and we will publish it in due course on the Digital Ready website, but you might want to just take some quick notes as we go, because I do go quite fast and there's quite a lot in most of these webinars. If you've attended one before, you'll know. Okay, so let's get started. So why do we measure things? Why do we bother measuring and tracking our digital online success? Well, you can use the data that you can collect from your measurement tools, or in some of the tools I'm going to show you today, to help you spend less time and money getting more customers. The beauty of digital is that you can track pretty much everything, and you can use the information in your tracking to make better marketing decisions and better website decisions as well. Measuring and looking at your digital data tells you what is and isn't working with your website. It can tell you what's not working with your marketing or what worked well, your social media, your email, anything else that you might be spending your time and money on. When none of us have big budgets particularly, as far as I know, and we don't, we're all quite time poor, so the more efficient you can get with your marketing spend and your use of your time and effort, obviously the more successful you will be. The other great thing about tracking your online success is you can also use the data that you collect to test assumptions. So you could, just excuse me a minute, right, that's better. So you could also, yes, just make sure that you can test your assumptions. So you can perhaps spend a little bit of your time and effort testing a hypothesis that you've developed from the information that you've got. So you might get some information from one of the tools I show you and think to yourself, okay, this is who my market is, this is what's going to appeal to them. Spend a little bit of your budget and time testing that, maybe 10%. Track the results and then see if it worked or not, and if it didn't work, try something else. If it did work, then go ahead and spend your budget. So the beauty of tracking your online success is, firstly, you can make better marketing decisions, but also it's possible to test things as well. So this is why we do it. So these are there are thousands and thousands of tools out there that you could use depending on what you're trying to achieve with your measurement. I've just put a couple up here, and some of them we'll be looking at today. Some of them we won't, but my apologies, I'll just get rid of this automatic message. Just bear with me a sec. There we are. There are thousands and thousands of tools that you could use. We'll just be looking at some of them. From there, decide what you want to measure or find out. For example, how effective is my website as a sales tool? What kind of people are coming and how many people are coming to my website and what are they doing on it? Or how effective is my social media? Are people talking about me on social media, and is that a good thing? Or, what keywords should I do? Should I use for my search engine marketing or search engine optimization? So what do you want to measure and find out? Decide this first. Is there a specific problem you need solved or question that needs answering? You're having an argument in your marketing department, for example, about scrolling down the page. Well, there's a tool to measure whether people are scrolling down to read information below the fold. But what I would suggest you do is explore some of these tools in your own time, and I'll just show you some of my favourites. But I would just pick one tool, decide your objectives, decide what you want to measure, then pick one tool and work with it until you're comfortable, and don't get overwhelmed by it too much. Decide what's the most important thing for you to know now, and then use that tool till you're familiar with it. And there's a bonus today. There are so many great tools out there, we couldn't agree on 5. So you get 7 today. I'm going to show you 7 tools. I know we said 5, but you get two extra. Bargain. Don't worry, we'll still be finishing at 11, though. 12, sorry. We'll still finish on time. Okay, so 7 tools, not 5. And today's 7 tools that we're going to look at are, first of all, Alexa. You may or may not be familiar with some of these. Alexa, Google Alerts, Social Mention, Quicktail, Google Webmaster Tools, Klout, and Google Analytics. And I put the URLs in there, and when we record this you will be able to obviously click through and have a look at these for yourselves. Many of them have very helpful beginner type videos that can just give you a quick 1-minute overview of how you can use the tool. And also on YouTube there are usually particularly with Google, but also with the other ones, there are usually either the company has a series of instructional videos or other people on YouTube have made them as well. And there's a lot of great information out there. So, I mean, obviously you can Google the help and read it if you want to, but I find quick, short videos are a really good way to get started. So if you are interested in any of these at the end and don't want to wait until we have put the recording up there, just Google the name of it, jot it down now and just go onto Google and type it in and you should be able to find it pretty easily and find some good information. Okay, so Alexa, first of all, what is Alexa? We may not be familiar with it, alexa.com. It's a US search engine. Google pretty much has saturation in the Australian market. Most people use Google to search, but in the US it's quite different, and some people, quite a lot of people still use Alexa. And it tracks most sites worldwide, and you can get a lot of basic demographic data, search data, linking into your site data, and other information to help you improve things like your value proposition, your search, and your promotion choices, what products you're offering, all sorts of things. The other thing is it does give quite similar information to Google Analytics in some ways, but with Alexa you can also get the same information about your competitors, which you can't necessarily do on Google Analytics unless you have access to their site. So that can be quite useful if you're in a bit of a competitive situation or you want to do something different. Just a little word of warning though, I would not mix 2 sets of data. So you might get one set of data from Alexa and another set of data on the same thing from your Google Analytics. I would stick to one or the other for the purposes of making a decision to make sure you're comparing apples with apples, because sometimes you can find that due to the measurement methodology there are some differences. You won't get exactly the same data on each one, and so obviously you want to be making sure you're making good decisions, and so I would stick with one data set to make sure you're comparing apples with apples rather than apples with oranges, which won't help. So what does Alexa give us? So here's an example. I've just typed in telstra.com.au here, and you could type in your own site or any site in the world really, competitors, partners, businesses that complement yours, whatever you want. And it gives you a huge amount of data, which can look a bit daunting, but don't be daunted because we're going to look at some of it. And so you get a little toolbar here that I've circled, which will give you traffic to the site, visitation and page impressions, that sort of stuff, analytics, who's coming in the audience, contact information, reviews, related links, and clickstream. So let's have a look at 1 or 2 of those in more detail. First of all, this is Alexa's audience information. And again, this is free, by the way. Alexa is a free tool. It does have a paid option, but you can get this information for free. So I've just typed in Pinterest at the top, as you can see, and car sales at the bottom. And I've had a look at the audience demographics for each one. And you can see that Pinterest has quite a big skew towards young females. So see the green bar here is showing very high female visitation and quite young. This is not. This is yes. Okay, and quite young, 25 to 34 females. Some of them have children, and it's hard to tell where they're browsing from, but they're not browsing from school. So you presume work and home. Remember, it won't give you complete information, and I wouldn't make all my marketing decisions on this information, but it does give you a place to start. And as I said earlier, you can test with some of your budget and some of your time to see if this is correct and see what kind of response you get. By contrast, car sales is giving us a male skew here. So there's more men and a lot fewer females. And also there's 2 groups here. There's young men and there's men over 55 to 64. So immediately that's giving me quite a different impression to what we have with Pinterest. As you can see, young women here, young men, and also men 55 to 64 here. And also not much college education, whereas the Pinterest audience has, this is American, so they mean high school or undergraduate degree. Yeah. So this is quite basic, but you can see already you can get quite interesting information on either your own website, a competitor website, or a potential partner website. And what this information can tell you is you can make decisions about what types of products you might show on Pinterest. One's obviously to appeal to a young female audience, or what kind of advertising you might do on car sales, or what kind of products you might advertise if you decided to buy some advertising on car sales, for example. So you might show more male-oriented type products, things that men would be more interested in, especially young men. You can also look at your own competitor sites, as I've said, and that can give you some good hints for what types of products to offer to your existing audience, but also other markets that are not coming to you at the moment, that are going to your competitors that you could perhaps target. So if your competitor website shows a particular demographic, a particular set of profile of people that is not coming to your website, there might be an opportunity there for you to try and target that audience. It can also give you some good information about what images you should put on your website, for example, ones to appeal to a young or older male audience, or ones to appeal to a younger female audience, what language you might use, how you might design your site, what colours you might, because it would be quite different depending on whether it's younger or older, male or female, education, no college or graduate school. All these sorts of things can give you quite good information on what to offer, who to go for, and how to communicate, what to say in your marketing messages. So some quite interesting information. Just staying with Alexa at the moment, this is still Alexa, and this is some search information, and I know this looks like a heck of a lot of figures and things, so I'll go through it slowly. Firstly, top queries from search traffic. So these are the words, this is still Telstra, yeah, this is staying with Telstra. These are the words that are both paid and organic search driving traffic right now to telstra.com.au. So we've got Telstra, surprisingly Tesco, which is interesting, Telstra Prepaid, Telstra Mobile, Directory Assistance, Big Pond, Telstra Australia, telstra.com.au, Telstra Business, Big Pond Router. So you could do this for your sites, and if you are not using these keywords in your website to optimize it for organic search, or if you are doing a search engine marketing campaign and you're not buying these keywords, perhaps you could start to spend a bit of your budget or a bit of your time optimizing for the words that are here that you haven't thought of, and it might give you some really good ideas for what keywords you could use both for organic and paid. So that's the first thing it can give you. Again, I test this and track it with your analytics or Alexa and see how it goes, but some quite good ideas there. This gives high impact search queries, gives the organic search that is driving a lot of traffic. These words are driving a lot of traffic, and also how much competition there is. So obviously you would want Telstra Mobile Plans has low competition and is a high impact search term. So it's driving a lot of traffic and there's not much competition. So that could be one word that you could possibly buy or optimize for, because you may have better chance of ranking for it than something like Tesco, which is high competition but highest impact. So that can also give you quite a good information on what you should optimize it for on your site, or what you could be buying in your search engine marketing. Search traffic on the rise and decline can help you take advantage of trends if you're quick. So you can see how much it's increasing by every month, and if something is really rapidly increasing, like showing 100 or 200%, or quite a high increase percentage here, then perhaps you could quickly, and it's relevant to your business, perhaps you could quickly put out a search engine marketing campaign with those terms in it, or if it's not relevant and it's rising, then stop buying them because they'll probably get quite expensive. And likewise, search traffic that's on the decline. If you have a search engine campaign happening, or if you're optimizing for these words and you see that it's dropping and it's continuing to drop over time, then maybe it's telling you that it's not worth bothering with and you should start a new set of keywords. So again, if you're into search, if you want some good intelligence to start a search engine campaign, if you're not sure how you're going, search traffic from Alexa, again, this is free. Just type in your URL, can show you, some quite good information. And obviously, if you, again, type in a competitor site, it can show you keywords that are driving traffic to their site, and you might want to buy or optimize or both for those as well. The other thing Alexa can show us is what we call backlinks into our site. So I've just done this with carsales.com.au, and there are 1,983 sites linking in to car sales. What that means is sites that link into yours are quite important in search engine optimization, particularly if they're what we call high quality sites, which is lots of traffic, regularly refreshed content, you know, lots of visitation, that sort of thing. So the more sites of high quality that you have linking in to your site that are relevant to your product and proposition, the better. And so we can see how many sites are linking in, and also if we click on that link we can get a list of which sites they are. So clearly Awesome Mobiles is linking to carsales.com.au from Pinterest. There's links in from WordPress, there's links in from Kaskus.co.id, there's links in from ThemeForest, Spiegel, so there's a German site here that is linking into car sales. So again, quite a lot of really good information here as to who is linking to your site. Are they high traffic, high quality sites? Should we, if it's a big German site, should we be talking to them about partnership? Should we be doing a search engine marketing campaign in Germany? You know, all that kind of information can really help you. Firstly, are they good quality sites linking into me? If not, I need to start a link exchange program. Secondly, what sites are they, and is it giving me any more information about the country or the type of site or the type of visitation or any of those kind of things that I could use in my marketing or my website. And the last thing on Alexa that I wanted to show you is Upstream and Downstream. Let's just look at Upstream to start with. So Upstream sites, this is the site that people visited immediately before they visited Deals Direct. I've used dealsdirect.com.au as this example. So 15% of people went to google.com.au and a further 9.4% went to google.com immediately before they came to Deals Direct, which is kind of understandable. People are searching for particular products. They might start with Google. Deals Direct comes up either as a paid ad or organic, and they click on that and go to Deals Direct. But why I'm showing you this slide is that there's also quite a bit of traffic coming from eBay, from Double O, from Crazy Sales, from My Shopping. These are all competitors to Deals Direct. So what that is telling me is there is a strong correlation between Deals Direct and these other discount sites. And what that suggests to me, and again, this is something you could test by, you know, it's trying something and measuring it. What that says to me is that this is all about price. So people are looking firstly on Google for a particular product. They're going to Deals Direct, but then they're going to eBay, then they're going to Double O, straight after Deals Direct, Crazy Sales, My Shopping, probably, and this is my hypothesis, to see if they can get a better price on it. So if you have a look at your Upstream sites in Alexa and see where people come from, I would suspect Google to start with, but just see who else it is. And if it's a competitor, ask yourself, am I doing a lot of discounting? Am I about price mostly? And is that a good thing? If you're not worried by that, then fine. If you are not chasing a market that is not all about price, maybe your marketing messages could be more about your amenities or your facilities or, you know, the way you look after people, or, you know, other things that are of interest that are not about price. So that's the first thing I can tell you. And then downstream, this is where they go immediately after leaving your site. So if they're going from your site straight back to Google, that suggests to me they didn't necessarily find what they were looking for. Again, with this particular example, they might just be going back to Google to see if they can get a better price. But if people are going to you, then to Google, I would have a look at that and then start having a look at things like my website, my marketing messages and things, and think, can they not find what they're looking for? Because they're coming to me and they're going straight to Google to do another search, and they're not coming back, and they're going to my competitors. So that could tell you that you might need to have another look at your website or your marketing messages or your advertisements if people are going from you to a search engine. It might just mean that they are looking for a better price, again, if you've got a lot of competitor information here. The other thing that downstream and upstream sites can show you is if there are sites that are not competitors that complement yours, that you could perhaps form a partnership with, then there's an opportunity there maybe to buy some advertising on their site or form a content partnership with them. For example, when I was working at ourbrisbane.com, we saw there was a very strong correlation upstream and downstream with realestate.com, who were not a competitor, and we did have quite a lot of suburb information on the site, so we were able to do quite a good content partnership with realestate.com to show their listings on ourbrisbane.com, and it was quite a good partnership for traffic-wise for us and for them. So firstly, I would look to see if there are competitors there, which might suggest to me that it's a price-driven decision, and then you can decide if that's okay with you or if you might need to look again at your marketing. Secondly, if there's a partner site in here, that has a strong relationship, then maybe there's an opportunity there for some mutually beneficial partnerships, either advertising, content sharing, cross-linking, that sort of thing to help you search. So that's Alexa. There's a lot more information on Alexa. It's really worth a look, and I would recommend that you have a look at it. Google Alerts, I did want to show you briefly. Now, there's only, I think, the one slide on this. Google Alerts, you can set up an alert on any keyword you like, and I would suggest your brand, your product, your partners, your competition, your industry, anything that's of interest that you want to be alerted to on the web. And I have to say, Google Alerts doesn't search absolutely everything. It searches specific things like the web, blogs, news, that sort of thing. And you can set up what type. I'll click through and show you, actually it's probably easier. Okay, so I could set up here, let's say I'm interested in receiving information on whale watching Australia, for example, and I can set whether I want it from everything or just news, just blogs, just video, just discussions, just books. These are all through Google Properties. How often I want it to appear, and if I want immediate information, I could say as it happens, once a day, once a week, let's say once a day. And all results, and I would do this to start with, and then you just nominate an email address for this to go to, and what you would do is get an email once a day with the words Whale Watching Australia in it from anything that's happening here. So it can be a very useful way of tracking what people are saying about your industry, your product, your competitors, anything that you're most interested in. So you can create as many alerts as you like. It's very easy, as you saw. All I have to do is hit create alert and that's done, and it will start immediately. You can manage your alerts so you can delete alerts, and what I would do is maybe create quite a few to start with, and when your inbox is overwhelmed, which it can get, then kind of refine it down and delete ones that are not relevant and that sort of thing. But it's a very useful way of getting information about who's saying what in the Google products online. Just got a question here. If you bought your product and closed the browser window, is this reflected in the stats? I would suspect not, Tracy, and you might need to check that with the Alexa help desk, help information. But because it shows a click from one URL to the next, I would suspect that it wouldn't be showing that. So excellent question. Thank you for asking it. The question was, with downstream statistics, if they bought your product and closed the browser window, is this reflected in the stats? And my answer is I'd suspect not, because it is showing movement from one URL to the next. And if they've closed the browser window, then that would be the end of the session and it wouldn't be recorded. But I would double check that with the Alexa help. Excellent question, thank you. Okay, so that's Google Alerts. Great for getting alerts on new information, on trending information. If there's a buzz happening and you need to know about it, set up some alerts and see what comes through to your inbox. Okay, social mention. We have looked at before, tracks keyword mentions on social media in real time. So as opposed to Google Alerts, which only tracks some platforms, social mentions tracks all of them, as far as I know, all the major ones anyway. It's also a good way of finding influencers, search terms and platforms that you could be on with social media. It's free again. Oh, Google Alerts is free, like everything on Google. And just a word of caution though, I would benchmark social mention as it's data in real time. So, and conversations change all the time. So yes, you are going to, it may change from time to time. But it can give you great insights into what people are saying about your brand, your product, your industry, your competitors. Also to find which platforms you could be on, find key influencers, suggest keywords for search as well. But it doesn't save searches, so you need to benchmark. If you want to save searches and look at data over time, then something like Tracker might be better. Tracker, T-R-A-C-K-U-R, is a freemium, so it has a free trial kind of model and then you pay. That will track searches over time. But social mention can be very useful for giving you a place to start. So here's just a screenshot that I've set up already, and I've just done a search on social mention for whale watching, and what's come up is so far some tweets, but lots and lots of platforms below. I'll show you a live example in a minute. In fact, let's do it now. There we are. Okay, so I've typed in a live whale watching Australia, and I've got some Facebook posts here that have come up. I've got a tweet. I've got more Facebook. And there are hundreds and hundreds of pages, so we can go through this and it can tell us what platforms people are saying. But this is what people are saying in real time right now. So 2 hours ago, somebody said with the anticipation there'll be an answer about whale watching in there, I would suspect, in that post. Okay, really complimentary. The beautiful thing about social mention is it gives it to you warts and all. So be prepared for being open to everything on the internet, including insults. Yeah. But why I'm showing it to you is not just it can show you what is being told, being said about your brand or product, depending on what you feed in here on social media right now in real time. But the other things it can show you is things like sentiment. So it can show you the ratio of mentions that are generally positive to those that are generally negative. And you can see this is generally positive, 21 positive and 1 negative. So if it's the other way around, then I'd start to be having a look at these posts and see why and see if there's something you need to be concerned about. Not very strong at the moment, presumably because it's not whale watch season yet. So likelihood your brand is being discussed in social media. You would expect this to grow when the season is on and when the campaigns kind of start. People are moderately passionate about it. If you type in something like Telstra or some political key search term, you probably find the passion grows a great deal more. Yeah. And reach, measure of the range of influence, number of unique authors referencing your brand divided by the total number of mentions. So this, you would want this to be as high as possible because it shows you what kind of reach you have on social media, and obviously we want to reach as many people as possible. What else does it show you? So a little cautionary tale about sentiment. It only measures this on keywords. So robots that measure these things don't understand irony. So if it's looking really positive, I would still be having a look at the posts because it could be something like great job, meaning that was a really terrible job, which of course a bot is not going to pick up. So don't just rely on the sentiment and don't just sit back and relax if it's all positive. Have a look at the posts as well and just double check that it is. Again, as I said, it can give you some keywords that you could be optimizing for either in your paid or your organic search. Top users. So one of the things to talk about in social media is a term called key influencers or taste makers. And these are the people that have a lot of followers and quite a loud voice on social media. And obviously these are the people that you want to be talking about your brand in a positive way because a lot of people listen to them. They have a lot of influence and, you know, they post a lot and, you know, people read them. People listen to what they say. So this is one way where you could perhaps click through to RSteph, whoever RSteph is, see who she is or he, and get to know them a little bit perhaps. Treat them, you know, a little bit, perhaps turn them into like a loyal customer and even enter into partnerships with them in an open way, not kind of paying for tweets or anything. But these are the people that you want to be talking about your brand in a positive way. So get to know them if they're consistently up here over time, and that will make your social marketing, social media marketing much more offensive. Hashtags, this can give you an idea of what hashtags you could be putting into your tweets, for example, if they're relevant to your product. So we've got, for whale watching, we've got Australia, we've got travel, we've got whales, wildlife, and Trivium V, whatever the heck that is, that's just one. So these, if you're not tweeting with these hashtags, perhaps you could put them in and see what difference it makes to your click-throughs. And sources, these are where the tweets about whale watching Australia are coming from at the moment. Photobucket, you do see that quite consistently with the keyword search whale watch Australia, which is not surprising. People are obviously taking photos and posting them. Also, as you'd expect, YouTube, Picasa Web, Facebook, Flickr. So there's quite a strong video and photo relationship here. If it were more like Dig or Delicious or the kind of text-based, more social bookmarking type sites that are more about articles or a big article hub site or something like that, then that might give you a clue that you need to do more text in your social media. But this is saying very clearly to me that this is all about videos and photos. So if you don't have a lot of photos, a lot of videos, etc. on your website and social media, then that could be something that you could get into maybe. Okay, so that's social mention. It's free as well. Next tool I wanted to show you about is one called Quicktail. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with this. There's Quicktail. There's also Crazy Egg, which does quite similar things. Quicktail is a program that gives you online customer experience analytics. So what it does is it tracks everything that users do on your live site in real time and gives you reports that can help you improve the effectiveness of your website. So if you're not sure if, for example, your homepage is all the information on your homepage is being looked at, if you're not sure if people are clicking on a particular link that you want them to because it's your call to action, it can show you this kind of information. It tracks your site in real time with real users, and it captures things like mouse moves, clicks and keystrokes. So it actually captures what people actually do in real time, real users on your website, where they move their mouse, where they hover their mouse, what they click on, keystrokes they put in. It's a bit spooky really, isn't it? And then it can produce a heat map, which I'll show you an example of in a minute, and other reports that can help you make decisions on how to improve your website to make sure that it is optimized for conversion, to make sure your website is set up to firstly attract people, but secondly lead them into your fulfillment, whether that's your booking button or your inquiry form or whatever your fulfillment might be. It shows you what users are actually doing on your site, so it can help with decisions like your navigation. Is it clear? Is it readable? Do people understand it? Can they find it? Help with decisions like where you could put links on your site and where you should put your calls to action and what they should look like. So you could set it up with different buttons, for example, and test 2 different buttons over time and see which one works best. Can show you which layout and design is effective. Are your layouts effective? Are they scrolling down to the bottom of your page to look at information? Can show you all this kind of stuff. Stops arguments about whether users are scrolling down to read your content, because you can track this. You can get reports on it and you can say yes or no. So if you're spending a lot of time and effort driving traffic to your site with your marketing, but you're not really seeing much of an increase in sales and conversions, you might like to try Quicktail to see if it can shed any light. You can find out what users are doing on your site, where they go, what they click on, what they don't notice, where they stop looking. You can check which links they click on, so is your link in the right place to get the most possible clicks. You can check if they're scrolling to see your content, as I said. You can check which content's important, which content is most visited, so you can write more and make it more visible. Find out where they stop looking at your site so you can tweak pages for more conversions, and find out if your site navigation and links are working. Now you can get some of this information from Google Analytics, perfectly true, and it does give you quite useful information, but if you're not getting what you need from Google Analytics for free, then I would have a look at Quicktail. It does have a freemium model, where you can get up to 400 page impressions free. So if your traffic is below 400 page impressions a month at the moment, you can give it a go. And it's not that expensive. It's a monthly fee, and it's simply a matter of registering. They send you a line of code. You put that line of code into your website and it starts tracking in real time, and I'll just leave it there for a period of time, maybe a month, or you can decide how long, and then get some reports at maybe monthly or weekly. So just to show you some of the things it can do, this is an example of a heat map if you haven't seen one before, and what it shows is what users are actually doing on the page, where they're looking and where they're moving their mouse and clicking. And so the red is the most users have accessed that link, so you can see red here is home, about, and send. So, and this looks like a form here. Yeah, it's a form. Red followed by yellow is the next most popular, followed by green, followed by blue. And if it's black, they haven't done anything at all with the content. So if, for example, you have not many people are looking at "we would love to hear from you," as you can see, they are going to home, they are going to pricing, they are going to about us, and they are inquiring and pressing send. So this suggests to me that there's price-driven stuff here, but also people want to know about you for credibility, so that's not bad. But they're not looking on their team, they're not looking on their banners, they're not looking on their features particularly, and they're not looking on whatever this is. I can't see it. Buzz, that's it. So what this says to me is this is quite a transactional, task-driven kind of behaviour from users, which doesn't surprise me. A lot of web behaviour is task-driven. They want to know, they click on here obviously, they want to know pricing, they want to know about, and then they fill it in and send. So if you have a link or a call to action here that's getting no colours at all, that can show you perhaps it's in the wrong spot, perhaps it's not worded, so you can change it, change the position, change the design, change the wording, put it up for a while, test it, see if it's getting more clicks on it, and gradually find out more and more information to make your site more effective. Quicktail also gives you things called conversion reports. So what this tells me is you can set this up in your form. Now this is similar to Google Analytics goals, but again can give you another view if you're not getting what you need from analytics. Reports show how many visitors completed or abandoned each stage of your form. Click below to view visitor sessions that correspond to each stage. So what you can discover here is things like which fields are taking too long for people to fill and they're stopping filling them in, which fields are most frequently left blank, which fields are people leaving on. 29 visitors tried to submit, tried but failed and left. So this is obviously your successful submission. It gives you conversion rate, 29 out of 306 visitors converted. What this information can tell you is where are the problems in your fulfillment form, in your booking form or your inquiry form, if that's what you have. So therefore, once you know this information, you can optimize your form to minimize frustration from the visitor and preempt any difficulties they might have. So, excuse me. This ensures that more visitors are able to complete your form with minimal frustration, shows you which form fields people are leaving your site so you can improve them, and also if it's persistently people dropping off, it can also give you a clue that you might need to look at your form error messages to make sure they're helping people to fill in the form and correct it. So again, conversion report and form field report. And the other thing it gives you is link analytics. So this is an overlay, and it shows you what links people are clicking on your web page. Not much on why Quicktail, a bit, some on support, some on contact, some on blog, 22% are logging in. But the other stuff it gives you is not only which are the popular links on your site, but also things like how long it took people to click, what people did in terms of hovering. Did they hover? So they hovered for kind of 8% of them hovered first and then clicked. What order, how long it took. Of the people that hovered, how many converted, how many hesitated. So really quite granular data about how effective your link wording, your link positioning, your navigation, everything else is on your site. So again, if you're not getting what you need from Google Analytics, I would have a look at Quicktail. If you go to their website, there's a quick 1-minute video that can show you exactly what they do. I can't play it today, unfortunately, because we can't do videos on webinars. They don't render very well. But quicktail.com is the address, and have a look at their video. Now, I don't have shares in Quicktail. It might sound like I do. There's also another one called Crazy Egg, crazyegg.com, which does very similar things, so maybe have a look at both of them and see which one you think might suit you best. But lots of very valuable information to help you optimize your website for conversion. Google Webmaster Tools. Now this is for those of us who are a bit geeky and like being a bit technical, and even for those of us who don't. So Google Webmaster Tools is kind of a no-brainer. If you are on the web and you have a Gmail account, it's free, it takes a minute to set up, and what it will do is give you a full report on your website once you've set it up to show you if there are any problems with Google bots being able to crawl your site. So obviously if you spend a huge amount of time and effort optimizing your site for Google search, you want to make sure that it's working as it should, and this is a really good way for you to find out if there's any technical issues on your site that you could fix in order to help Googlebots crawl your site, and obviously that will assist you with higher search engine rankings. It can show you things like which pages Google is looking at, because it doesn't necessarily look at all pages on your site. Are they the right ones with the right keywords on it, for example, or is it your error page which doesn't have any keywords on it at all? It can show you any errors that are encountered while crawling your site. For example, if they find things like duplicate content which can lower your rankings, it will tell you that and you can do something about it. It can show you search queries that list your site as a result, which sites link to yours, and a lot more. So basically you can get a report online from Google on what issues you might have on your site that might be affecting your search engine ranking. There's also a lot of detailed help in Webmaster Tools to show you how to fix these if you need to do it yourself. There's quite a lot of help. There's videos, there's a forum, there's text information, lots to show you what to do to fix any of the errors that Google finds in this report. It's free. You just need a Gmail account. And if you have analytics already, you can link that to Google Webmaster Tools as well. So easy to set up if you have these already set up. If not, a Gmail account, very easy and quick to set up. You just need a username, nominate a password, and you're done. It gives you also, this is quite new, but it gives you a lot of more detailed search information that you can use to optimize your site for better SEO rankings as well. So if you're into SEO and it's a big part of what you do, Google Webmaster Tools is kind of a no-brainer. And the steps, as I said, quite easy. You just create an account on Webmaster Tools. What you do is hit this sign into Webmaster Tools here, and it'll give you a sign up option if you're not signed up already. Create an account or use your Gmail account. Register for Webmaster Tools at this, google.com/webmasters. Follow the prompts and just add your website URL. The prompts are quite easy. It's only a couple of things you need to do. Put in your website URL and it will then give you a line of code, again similar to Google Analytics that you will put into your site, or there's various ways you can do it. Generate the report, and then you can obviously go off and fix your site, and then once you've done that you can also manage your account, so you can link it to your analytics if you have them. You can allow other people on your staff to have access to Webmaster Tools, all sorts of things. So it's free, again it's a no-brainer, it can really help your SEO, search engine optimization, so I would recommend that you have a look at Webmaster Tools as well. Here's just an example of a sample report. This is a dashboard, so it's not giving us a lot of detail, but this is the sort of thing that you would get from Google once you had set up Webmaster Tools. So it's telling you Googlebot has successfully accessed your homepage, and you can get more detail on that if you need it. It's telling you which pages from your site are included in Google, so which pages Google's looking at. Which pages in your sitemap Google's looking at, errors for URLs in sitemap if you have PHP strings or whatever, HTTP errors, pages not found, any of these kind of things. It will tell you what errors it's found, and then you can get information on how to fix it. So there's a lot of information here. It's not difficult to sign up and to do, and then you can either have a look at the report and fix it yourself if you do your own website management, or you can take it to your technical people and ask them to do it for you. So that's Webmaster Tools. Klout. I was in two minds whether to show you Klout or not, but I decided to in the end because it measures your influence on social media. So here's a nice little graphic here. Kim Kardashian is my friend on Facebook. My Klout score is 75. You better be nice to me. Okay, so that's just a bit of fun. But why I put that in there, obviously, is what Klout does. It measures your influence on social media based on your ability to drive action on social networks. So basically, Klout gives you a score out of 100, which tells you how influential you are on social media. And of course, social media is all about influence. It's not just a matter of posting up product information or announcements or you know, discounts and things. Social media is about the conversation, and it's about influencing people, because the more social media is about conversations influence, the more persuasion and influence you have, the greater success you'll have in social media. So you want people to be influenced by what you say. So with Klout, how it works, again, this is free. You simply sign up for a Klout account. That's just nominating username and password again, so not hard. And then you connect your Facebook, your Twitter, your LinkedIn. I think Instagram has just recently been added as well. Whatever you're on, you allow Klout access to those, and don't worry, it won't post or anything like that. And then it takes all the posts and everything to do with your social networks and gives you a score out of 100 that tells you what your influence is, and then you can get a lot more information to discover how you're influencing the world. So what you can do with Klout, you can find people that you influence on social media, find who specifically you're influencing on social media. You can also find what topics you're influential on. So and hopefully that would be your brand, your product, your industry, you know, things that you're in business for. You can find influential people to follow or try to get them to follow you as well. Remember we talked earlier with Social Mention about key influencers, people that have a big presence on social media and are influential. If you can follow them, get them to follow you, you're a long way down the track to be more successful. Social media is about influence, and key influencers are gold if they will talk positively about your business. Use this information to build relationships and connections with people you influence and to enhance your influence on particular topics. So the other thing you can do is become what we call a bit of a thought leader, the person to go to for expert information. If you know something, if you know a lot about whale watching, or you know a lot about your region, or you know a lot about winemaking, or whatever your industry might be, there's an opportunity for you to enhance your influence on particular topics that you know a lot about, and make yourself into a bit of a thought leader. And of course, thought leadership is more likely to be followed than not, because you're giving original information, you're giving new information, you're giving deep information, stuff that people are really interested in. There's a lot of clutter on social media and a lot of kind of superficial information, and if you can establish yourself as a thought leader in your game, again, you'll be a lot more influential and a lot more successful. So just some examples of the kind of reports that you can get from Klout. So this one is showing some ways to use Klout. So you're currently influential about 10 topics, this person. They're influential about Klout, they're influential about blogging, about family, about martinis, about parenting, and about renovating. Okay, so again, it's keyword based and it's about bots, and you might get some surprises, but what it is doing is tracking who retweets, who comments on your Facebook posts, who does stuff with your social media posts, and adding it up into a score of what topics you're currently influential about. So if it were me, I'd be looking for my brand, my product, my industry, my area of expertise, whatever it was, to be appearing here. And if it's not appearing here, then I would be doing maybe more looking at my posts to see if I can make them more effective, looking at my followers to see if I can make them do more stuff with my posts, making sure my Facebook posts are engaging so people like, comment, share, all that sort of thing. Really useful information. The other thing it can show you over time is trending. So this one has been on Klout for a little while, and it's showing that their Klout score is slowly climbing. And so they've said your Klout score is up over the past 30 days, keep doing what you're doing to increase it further, and their score is currently 55. So basically what they're doing is right. This shows them that they are increasing their influence on social media amongst people. People are doing stuff with their social media posts, and so they should keep doing the same thing. If it's going the other way and it's dropping, maybe they should look at what they're doing and try something different and measure that. The other thing, as I said, it tells you is who you're influenced by, but of course who you're influencing. So this person influences 2,718 people, and it does tell you exactly who they are. And so this can be a good way of finding people with a lot of influence, and also people that you're not influencing as well. So that's Klout. I wouldn't have my feet nailed to the floor if my Klout score starts off low. Don't worry about it. But if if you start somewhere, you need to start somewhere. You can use it as a benchmark, basically. So your Klout score might start off at 20 or 25 or 30, which is absolutely fine. And then you can start to look at your social media, your content strategy, what you're posting on social media, what you're saying, who is connecting to you, who you're influencing, who you're not influencing that you'd like to be, and put together a bit of a plan to increase all of those things, make them more effective so that your score will go up. But it's just a measure of influence on social media and quite useful. And lastly, Google Analytics. I've left this one to the end because I know many of us probably already have Google Analytics, and we did debate a bit about whether to include it or not in this webinar, but I still think it's such a useful tool, and there's still so much information that's out there, plus it's changing all the time. I thought it was worth including, but I do understand if you're really busy and have things to do and you're already across Google Analytics, then absolutely fine if you want to close your webinar now. But if not, stay with us and we'll just spend a bit of time on analytics as well. So obviously Google Analytics, as we know, we can track how many people visit your site, how they're finding your site, which countries they're coming from. Why do we do it? So we can understand how effective we are and if we're improving over time. The reason why we track everything really is for those two reasons. How effective are we right now? Are we getting better over time? Get more out of your marketing dollars by tracking what worked and didn't work. Use this data for your next campaign or venture, whatever it might be. Spend more on what worked and less on what didn't to make your dollar go further. So some of the things we can do with this data, we can check if our site visitation is increasing or decreasing over time. Are we getting more people or fewer people? Check the success of an advertising campaign. Have we seen a spike or an increase in site visits at the same time as an ad campaign was running? And obviously we can get a lot more granular than that, but this is the basics. We can check things like seasonality. So over a year, do you get more visitors in a particular month? If so, for example, should you start an AdWords campaign then or another advertising campaign? It's important to match your analytics with conversions, so not just how many people came to your site, which is great, but at the end of the day, of those who came to your site, how many bought something or booked something or subscribed or did what you wanted them to do in the first place, and what did that sale cost you in real terms. So you can set up your analytics to find this out from the first page they visit right through the booking process to the thank you page, and you can see of the people that come, how many actually converted and how much did that cost me. So therefore you can be a lot more efficient with your marketing. So that's, traffic types. You can look at the organic versus paid. What's the relationship between the two? Should you be doing more to get more, for example, more organic searches? Is your email marketing working? How memorable is your URL? Okay, so this is the information in terms of traffic sources it can tell you. Time on site by country. Is there a particular country or region or city that offers more referrals than other? You can drill right down to city now. Should you be targeting this with a specific AdWords campaign or advertising campaign, a different one? Are you getting too many visits from a particular area, and are you in danger of overworking that market? You need to go and look for a new one. You're relying too much on a local market, for example. Could it be the second largest? So this example here is getting a lot of visits from the United States. If that happens over time, should they be putting more effort into the United Kingdom or India, for example, to increase those kind of markets and stay one step ahead? Other things analytics can show you: return on investment on your social media. So this gives you now the originating social network and actions. So Google+, Facebook, Delicious, Read It Later, and Google+ Reshare. Quite a lot of information on where your traffic is coming from social media. It can give you basically an indication of the effectiveness of your social media links driving traffic to your website, and then you can track this, extrapolate this out into conversions to track the actual ROI of your efforts on social media. So previously it was difficult to do this, but you can now do it in Google Analytics. Other things it can show you is channel effectiveness. So if you're driving traffic and spending money and effort in different channels, for example, we've got paid search, organic search, and email here, and direct, obviously people type in the URL directly. But if you're spending money on your paid search campaign, if you're spending time and effort and money on an email campaign, you can see, and obviously social networks, display, referral, whatever else, you can see what kind of traffic and conversions these campaigns are driving, and if there's one that isn't driving very much traffic or isn't leading very many conversions, then you could perhaps look at it, improve it or drop it. If there's one that's performing really well, then perhaps increase your spend on it. And of course, the thing about Google now is it can now give you real-time reports. Previously, there was a bit of a time lag, but now you can actually get reports in real time. So if you launch a campaign, you can pretty quickly see if it's working or not. And if it's not working at all, then you could, e.g., kill it without wasting any more money. If it is working really well, quickly increase your budget. So you can be very responsive, very flexible, very quick with your marketing based on the information that you're getting from Google Analytics. One of the other things I love that I share all the time, because I just think it's so useful, similar to Quicktail, this is customer flow, and it's just something that you turn on in Google Analytics if you're not familiar with it. You can set up goals, and then it will give you a flow of how people are moving through your site. So you can see this particular example that I've given. People are coming through, a lot of them are coming through, 11.7K are coming through from an organic site search, and most of them are going to the home page, which is not a bad thing. Or they're coming through from a referring site, or they're typing in the URL directly, or they're coming through from social media and they're going to the home page. And then from here, these red things here show you where people drop off. And this is quite big. So, and then once they've gone to home, they've gone to the main menu and dropped off again. And they've gone back to the home page and dropped off again. So this suggests to me that the navigation isn't working too well because people don't seem to be able to find what they're looking for. Of those that didn't drop off, they've gone to the menu and they've gone back to home. Nope, no, they haven't. They've gone to locate or contact us or friends. So if, for example, you had home and then you had accommodation or special offer, booking, thank you, and there were not many people dropping off and it was going straight through and not going round and round, then you would know that your navigation, your site linking, everything else was working really well. If, on the other hand, it's going home, menu, locate, which is kind of what it's doing here a bit, then that would suggest to me that my site navigation isn't working very well. So that's Google Analytics in a nutshell. Of course, there's a huge amount more that analytics can do for you, but these are just some of the major features. So all this might seem a bit daunting. We just spent an hour looking at this, and it might seem a bit daunting. And when you start to experiment with some of these tools, you might find that you're not getting the results you expected from your social media or your marketing or your site or whatever. Or you might be getting some negative feedback. There might be some problems out there. Or you might get a Google Webmaster report that tells you there's a huge amount to fix on your website. But don't be daunted by that. Don't worry about it, because data can be daunting. But if you don't get the results you expected, or your tracking shows negative feedback, or there's lots wrong, or you don't have much influence, don't be discouraged, because the thing is, now you know. And data empowers you to fix what's wrong and do it better. And it gives you an opportunity to know where you're starting from, what's working, what's not working, and you can experiment with things and try different things, or test hypotheses, or go out with a different campaign, or fix up your website, whatever. And then you can track it again, and it can tell you if you're improving. So the thing about data is it can tell you if you're improving over time, which is really valuable, rather than kind of stabbing in the dark and just trying stuff and not knowing whether it's worked or not. It can empower you to fix what's wrong, do it better next time, know where to spend the rest of your budget, or if you do get negative feedback, smooth down the angry customer, turn them into roaring advocates, or make your website the best ever. If you don't know, how will you improve? So don't worry. Get some reports, or just focus on one tool and get a report from it, then make a plan, and then just make, we're all busy and we're all time poor, so just make a plan to gradually improve what you're doing over time, and keep tracking, keep measuring, keep seeing how you're going. But don't be daunted. Don't try and do everything at once. If it were me, I would make a list and maybe start with complaints or negative feedback if that's what you're getting straight off, and then prioritise your list and just do a little bit from time to time. The other question I get asked a fair bit is, how often should I check my stats? At least monthly, preferably weekly, and it depends again on your available time. But particularly if you have a campaign in market, I'll be checking it very frequently to monitor what's going on. But as often as you can, and at least monthly, if not weekly, would be my my suggestion. And just factor it into your workday. Put aside half an hour to have a quick look at what's going on, see if you need to do anything. If you have a campaign in market, factor in a bit more time so that you can be responsive. And yeah, go from there. Okay. Nearly out of time. If we do have questions, I'm happy to stay on and take any questions that you may have, if there are any. If you don't have questions, then thank you very much. Don't forget that we still have workshops. We still have mentoring sessions in regions, which you can book through your destination specialist. We do have the coaching service via phone or email that I can talk to you on the phone, or you can send me an email. If you have specific questions relating to your situation, more than happy to help. And of course, the webinar series continues at least until the end of June. These are some of the Digital Ready program workshops that we have. So we have increased from last year. Develop your online content is new, build your Facebook audience is new, maximise mobile is new, creating shareable videos is new. So if you're interested in any of those, get in touch with your specialist. Thanks very much everyone today. I'll stay on the line for a little bit longer in case there are any more questions, but thanks for attending. I hope you found it useful. I'm Jane. This is Susan Amerko. You can feel free to contact us anytime by phone, by email at this address, or just visit our website and see what wonderful information we have up there for you. Thanks everyone. See you later.